Less options, better choices conclusion. I've got this much battery left going into this device here. This iPhone. And my memory's full and the numbers don't seem to correctly identify what needs to be fixed. So I got to restart. Start now, restart later. And having had cancer and having no diagnosis currently other than in remission, it is what it is. And I think some background information might help the sadness for what I'm talking about and why emotion just seems to just come out of nowhere. I lived with a woman named Nima Doma. She works at Children's Hospital in Seattle. And I'm at risk for being sued. I'm at risk for probably being killed by the Chinese government and whoever else freaking hears my voice right now. I was recovering from cancer the first time I lived at this woman's house. She's originally from Tibet, left Tibet, and came to America. Had a son. He kills people in video games almost every night. He used to, when I lived there, sit in the kitchen area where I'd make my food, shooting and killing, while I'm trying to eat food recovering from cancer. She'd hit him. She hit me. I lost all my resources, all my notes. She threw me out of the house twice, unexplained. No paperwork, nothing. I paid cash every time for rent. And she took my laptop. Or her son took the laptop. The laptop went gone. It was stolen from my apartment that I was renting in her home. I filed a police report. Nobody cared. The laptop was then back in my room less than a week later. A lot like consciousness. Oh, I remember. You start visualizing, you start remembering, memories and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're back now. Oh, I remember, I'm making this video now. I want to be a surgeon for little children. I don't wear glasses for psychology. I wear them for pain relief because I believe in medicine and health. I'm willing to take a lie detector to prove my innocence and to show the bully to the world. And what I'm talking about has to do with curing cancer. Okay, great. Everyone agrees I want to go to surgery school to cure cancer. I'm not talking about going and helping someone feel better and get so much healthier in whatever freaking voice or whatever seriousness wants to be used to describe what I'm describing now. I want to flat out get rid of cancer. And the laptop and what I'm limited to now with this phone and resetting and starting, resetting and starting has now reached the end of time. A woman who works in a Seattle Children's Hospital who rents to a cancer survivor and just fucking throws them out in the fucking cold. A person who doesn't let the neighbor next door use the heat, or else the wall starts shaking and starts hitting. These are not that. I am not that. But all these folks got to do is say, I am that. You need to talk to me next time before you call the police, Nima Doma says. You need to watch your emotions, and you need to stop responding when the bully does what the bully wants. Because she's a woman. Nima Doma's a woman. I'm a man. Maybe totally coincidental, maybe totally experimental, maybe just totally just extra information. But not unlike this YouTube channel and the data available to anybody who wants to access it in the government, police, military, or on some spaceship on some planet with a UFO who might come and save me from all of this sadness and depression. I put the website on my door so the bully knows, so the thug, so the brutality causing person finally gets to either be free from their suffering or live with what they are and what they do with their brain, body, and mind. A person who doesn't introduce themselves, a person who just goes around anonymously and flashes mushrooms and glasses and does their hair before they go out to the grocery store, would have no business looking at my schoolwork, would have no business watching me on a video describe the horror in front of my eyes and outside of my ears. And should they have some sort of concern and need to follow what I'm saying and see what I'm doing now, then they're a voyeur and a pedophile, flat out. That's looking through walls with no names, with no faces, only mystery. And there's suspense every time the button turns on. There was a movie called The Matrix. There was a red pill and I think a blue pill. There were two options. And everybody thought, oh, it's the simulation or the freedom. And it was like this big theoretical, philosophical masterpiece. Beautiful. State-of-the-art filmmaking, technology. Mind-blowing action scenes with everything blowing up. Guns everywhere. And a lot like now, stuff made sense back then to be thought of as like a simulation. We were still in the early days of technology, cell phones, computers, and laptops. And so now, with the notion of less options, better choices being talked about in this video series, a reconsideration of the Matrix pill scene, which he says, you know, which do you want? Or maybe it was only one pill. Maybe he just didn't take the pill and he was just not bothered anymore. left alone in the simulation. I don't have the movie in front of me, and I don't have enough memory to make a second video to look and then go back, because I got to reset my phone after this to even make a phone call to my mother just to say hi, and hopefully she's not getting sick in Arkansas and Little Rock. Either way, there was an option, one or the other. So people have figured out, like, oh, they were talking about, in a very similar analogy, what's happening now. Climate change. We're using too much, we're doing too much, we're not being nice to the planet. And they've written books about the simulation theory, about video game theory and simulation, and pretty much saying we're living in a video game, in a simulation. People like Elon Musk have even said it's very likely. And probably correct. So what the Matrix example has to do with less options and more and better choices. Better choices. Maybe more. Better choices. Has to do with the restart and the start. Okay, here's the pill. Do you want to restart? Take the pill. Okay, you start. And then everyone says, you know, okay, we got everything figured out. Just follow what we do. And then maybe you get to the United States Navy SEALs, and they're like, what? You are this? Disqualified. Restart. Start. Revolution, because that person finally figures out, well, they're in a simulation video game where people just tell people what to do and people just follow the leader. They follow who's in charge of the best option available. Start, restart, start, restart, start, restart, start, restart, start, restart. With psychological cognition, there's no analogy. There's not even a word to describe freedom. Krishnamurti tried to do it. His Holiness the Dalai Lama's made similar attempts. Other spiritual leaders talk about freedom. Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King, me. Other people like me, other people who are more important than me, people who believe they are more important than the people I've talked about in the past. There's no words to describe because it's such a healthy consciousness. Such a healthy way of seeing and hearing. You don't even want to mess with anything in the world. You don't want to even think about the world. Some people call it enlightenment in some spiritual traditions. And more important than the pill in the movie that everyone seemed to really grasp has to do with the film on the screen. Are you that? You know, is the psychological question. I am not that. I am that Navy SEAL soldier who believes in their country. I am that Navy SEAL serviceman who's not afraid to serve next to a woman or start a new video with maybe not enough memory left to complete it.